Welcome back to the channel. This is a video from a creator called the Intentional Wife School. So I happen to know this person in a way, but I don't want to disclose how. And it's a video that just went viral. I just want to also give my own reaction and view concerning this particular video. And the title is Why Women Have Sex. The reasons will blow your mind. So let's see. Maybe my own feeble mind can give you also some insight. Let's go.
Ladies, let's be honest. If there is no medical condition involved in the reason for your attitude towards sex, you know you have a switch. Well, this switch is a button you can just turn on or off, and when you want to, you can flip that switch with ease. But here is the real question. Why? Why does that switch turn on so easily for the bad boys? The ones who don't even deserve your love, but suddenly go off when it comes to the loyal, committed husband. Another question is, why was intimacy effortless before marriage, but now it feels like a chore? I mean, why does that happen?
So this is one thing people also need to come to terms with. When you decide to love someone, you decide to love someone. You know their flaws and you don't hold that against them. It should not be performative. And when it starts becoming performative, then things go wrong. But let's see how she tackles this video.
Well, at the start of a relationship, passion is intense. The excitement is there. The desire is real. And intimacy feels natural. But as time passes, something shifts. The connection weakens. The passion fades. And before you know it, sex becomes rare, forced, or non-existent. So why does this happen?
Another thing people should consider is if you are getting into a relationship with someone, ask yourself this question. If things get bad, will I still want to give love to this person? Will this person be somebody I can sacrificially give love to? And if the answer is no, then don't even bother, to be honest.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
Let's break it down, because sex isn't just an act, it's a reflection of how a woman views her relationship. And for many wives, sex becomes a tool rather than an expression of true connection.
That is the main thing. It becomes a tool, which is bad. Don't use it as a tool.
Now let's talk about how sex becomes a tool. Sex is, for one, a tool for gratitude. This is so not good. Let's talk about something no one wants to talk about and no one wants to admit. Sex is something used as a thank you gift rather than an expression of love. Ever heard a woman say things like, I should give him some tonight. I should give him some tonight. He's been so nice to me. And someone else will say, he took me on a trip, so I guess I owe him a lot. When intimacy is transactional, it loses its meaning. Now imagine this. A man provides for his wife. He supports her. He listens to her. He loves her. And if in the beginning she shows gratitude through sex, and it was all going fine, what happens when gratitude fades?
This is also something we don't really consider. When men, what's the primary function of a man? He provides, he secures, he protects. When men don't see any back and forth of affection, the man never keeps his affection to one side. He never stops providing. He never stops being a security. He never stops doing what he primarily is supposed to do. Or primarily. English, don't English me. He still provides, he still does what he needs to do. He still gives attention. So a man's mind works like this. I am in it. I need to dedicate that resource or that affection or whatever that my spouse needs to give. So in return, when he starts saying that, oh, my spouse only gives me her own affection when I do something good or when I do something that she likes, it becomes resentful. The man will think about it like, I do this automatically. Why don't you do the same thing automatically? It becomes resentful. It becomes spiteful. The man gets confused and be like, does she really care about me? Well, let her cook.
If sex was never about genuine desire, once the thank you wears off, the connection crumbles. Sex should never be a reward system. If it is, it's only a matter of time before it stops completely. So, number two, sex as a tool for security. Some women use sex as a form of currency for security. If a man provides a home, pays the bills, and ensures stability, intimacy becomes an unspoken exchange. If she feels safe, she engages. If she doesn't, she withdraws. But here's the problem: when sex is a trade, real intimacy disappears.
That's another thing. When a man stops providing his default resources, his default attention, his default responsibilities, there's a name for that. There is a term for that. We call him irresponsible. We call him, if he's a father, we say he's a deadbeat dad. He's this, he's that. But when a woman stops giving her own primary responsibility, rather when she stops performing her own primary responsibility, what do we call her? We say she's empowered, right? Is that not what the language is? We excuse it. We say it is normal. We start demonizing the male side. There must have been something the man has done. I'm not saying men don't do something, but they do. But the fact that I need to even disclaim this again, even says there's a problem, because a man cannot see something like this without disclaiming. So we should not accept it societally, culturally, when women weaponize sex in their marriages. It should not be accepted. If your sister does it, you shame her.
Shame on you.
Shaming doesn't mean like, woe is you. It's just like, it's simple. What you're doing is wrong. Finish. What you're doing is wrong. It's shame. It's good. Shaming is not bad, people.
If a wife only connects when the need or when she needs something, is she truly in marriage or just using her
Help
marriage?
me ask you. Help
Let's
me.
flip the script. Imagine if a husband only gives his wife attention when he wants sex. How would that feel? I know this happened that some men
They will call him a criminal. He's an evil man. He's a player. He has someone outside. So many names in the bucket.
do that.
Yes,
But their what
men
in
do that.
marriage is reduced to what they provide. This is why many good husbands feel unloved, unseen, and emotionally abandoned. Number three, sex is seen as a tool for comfort. Let's be honest once again. Every woman wants comfort, a stable home, and emotional security, a stress-free life. These are one of the things women want, but comfort.
That's one thing with comfort. I think it's both sexes. Once you have comfort, you start having issues with things that don't have issues. It's only someone that has enough food in their fridge that will start complaining that they don't want to eat animals because it's harming the animal community and they need to be vegans. I'm not saying some people don't have good reasons to be vegans. There are good reasons. But I'm saying if you are in the bush and there is nothing to eat, veganism will not cross your mind. So I'm not saying veganism is good or bad. That's not my point. If there's abundance, then veganism becomes a consideration. So if there is a lot of comfort, then smaller issues then become problem. Like he doesn't wash the dishes. I'm the only one that washes the dishes. He only washes the dishes when I'm tired or not around. Why doesn't he do it? So things like that. So it's only people that even have the where to wash dishes, even have food to even eat to wash dishes, that will start having that problem. But when you have serious problem, all those things they don't become like serious issues. It's all about survival. We need to survive as a unit. Let's walk around what we need to do to survive. But once survival is out, then people start nitpicking. She doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. Yeah.
Requires effort from both persons, from both partners. A good man deserves to come home to a happy wife, and
Yes.
a happy wife deserves to have a husband who shows up.
Man, that happy wife thing, no be small thing. People don't understand how a sad-faced woman can destroy a man. Have you watched movies where men just stay in there when they drive home, instead of coming home inside their house and relaxing, they stay in the car and breathe, then come in, or they spend like 20 minutes in the car before coming in? That is not normal, though. And don't be thinking that it cannot happen to you. It can happen to you. It happened to me. Although I didn't marry, but it happened to me. I was that stressed. And thank God I didn't marry.
Who shows up fully in the marriage. But if a wife only engages in intimacy when she feels completely comfortable, what happens when life gets hard? What happens? What if finances take a hit?
Boom.
What if stress builds up? What
Boom.
if there is conflict, or there are conflicts in one way or another? Definitely conflicts.
That stress on you cannot control. If your spouse is stressed and she doesn't know how to control it, you are in trouble. You are in trouble. She will pour all her frustration on you. She will not remember that this is my stress. I have to deal with it. Nope. This is my stress. All of us will deal with it together. It's different from a man, though. When a man is stressed, if he lets it on his wife, then that's a very bad man. Most good men I know will generally try their best not to let their women to share in their stress. They will try to find a way to extinguish it or to go and box it out somewhere, but they don't bring it home. But for women, if they are stressed as a woman, you as a man, you are also stressed. There's nothing you can do. So now, imagine you don't have a woman that can regulate the way she pours her stress. She will dump everything on you and you are at fault and you have to deal with it. She will not take responsibility for it. So, stress. It happens. You have to be able to sponge it from the woman you are with. And if you can't, please don't marry her. Please don't enter into a good committed relationship with a woman you cannot handle her stress. You hear?
So come on. So what happens then? If comfort is the only motivation for intimacy, the moment things get tough, the marriage suffers. True intimacy is about connection and not just convenience. So
in other words, will your wife still have sex with you when she's stressed? Not immediately, though. What will she do to make sure that her vows towards you is being honored? Will she use that stress of, oh, nothing is working, we don't have this, we don't have that, or I have this problem and you can't solve it, to say, I don't want to have sex with you right now? Or is she the kind of person where if there is a lot of stress around her and she finds a breathing room, she's like, oh, I've not been able to fulfill my duty to my husband, let me walk towards fulfilling that duty? See, there are two different mindsets. The first mindset is the husband has to do something to remedy whatever stress that you are going through before you can more or less do your obligation. To me, it's not a reward, it's your obligation. The second one is, I've committed to this person, but I'm so stressed that I can't keep this commitment. What should I do to alleviate this stress that I have right now, or to walk around it so that I can fulfill this commitment? Two different mindsets.
number 4 is sex as a tool for having children. This is a hard truth, but it is a truth. Some women only desire sex for one purpose and one purpose only: to have children.
And this is a little too common in my side of the world. Most women just marry to get children. And once the children come, the husband, you are second-class citizen. I think it's also a little common in the other parts of the world also. But it should not be. You are not married to your children. If you take the Christian worldview, there's nothing about about you honoring your children in your marriage. You are supposed to guide them and all. But husbands are supposed to love wife. Or wife are supposed to honor husbands. There is no children in that mix. Children is there somewhere, but that primary union, that primary relationship has to be maintained. Oh yes!
The dream of a family, and the dream of a stable family to start with, a stable home and a future with kids. But once that goal is met and achieved, sex becomes less frequent and stops completely. Why? Because the mission is complete. But when a husband becomes just a sperm donor, the relationship loses its emotional depth. Now, the relationship has to be actually deep. That is what marriage is all about. But if a wife gets busy with motherhood, the focus shifts to the children, the romantic connection fades. Soon, the husband feels like a stranger in his own home. Let's talk about sex as a tool for
Before we get to that one, I cannot dare to say I know the gravity of a man feeling like a second-class citizen in his own house. The idea of it is very depressing for me. But there is trying to know the theoretical feeling of it and actually being in it, they are two different things. One thing that relationship and marriage pursuit has taught me, you might think you know the pain of somebody, but you don't until you get there. That's when you actually know the pain. Now I'm trying to imagine men that are second-class citizens in their own houses. You're supposed to be the head of your house, but yet you are treated like that guy over there.
For financial gains. Let's be real. Some women use sex to secure a wealthy lifestyle.
Very true.
It's almost everywhere.
Very true.
They engage passionately when there is a luxurious trip on the table, when there's an expensive gift involved in almost everything they do, when there's a promise for financial stability. But here's the question. What happens when the money disappears? Crickets, right? What really does happen? If a marriage was built on transactional intimacy, then what happens when financial hardship comes? So does emotional detachment. They come hand in hand. Love should never be based on what a husband can buy.
This is why I also tell guys that if a lady doesn't like you because you can't give her something, then that's a good sign. Don't pursue it. It doesn't mean she's ultimately a bad person. Well, I believe everybody is a bad person, but that's your cue to say, okay, this is not the woman for me. And if you have a lady that is somewhat responsive to you because you give her stuff, be cautious. She might not like you for you. She might like you for the way you make her feel, maybe by buying things or all those things. If a woman doesn't like you for you, you are in trouble, because it's only when a woman likes you for you that she will go out of her way to please you. I'm not saying worship you, but a man requires a woman that is respectful towards him. Respect goes beyond, oh, I respect you. But no, in my discomfort, I also respect you. In my emotions, when they are all over the place, I also respect you. When I'm frustrated to the point where I can shout at you, I respect you. Men see those things and we appreciate them. The same way women appreciate when, in your frustration as a man, you love her. In your lack, you still love her. In your inability to do some things, you push yourself for her because you love her. That's the same thing. So when it doesn't get done by our women, we get frustrated. And in our frustration, we don't lash out. We monitor and we hope things get better. We try to communicate. If we communicate 1, 2, 3, 400 times and it gets shut down and ridiculed, you've lost your man. You've totally lost your man. So remember that.
Intimacy should never be a business exchange. If sex is bargained like a contract, a marriage will never feel real. So then, let's talk about the dangerous cycle of scheduled sex. Here,
Kai, scheduled sex, scheduled sex.
Yeah, boy.
If the schedule is daily, I don't think there is that much problem to it. It should not be. Becomes robotic.
is where it gets worse. Some wives schedule sex just to keep the marriage going, just to keep the marriage running. It could be twice a month, just enough to avoid complaints. It could be just enough to maintain the illusion of a happy marriage. It could be just enough to keep the peace. But what happens when intimacy becomes an obligation rather than a connection? Resentment builds up. Desire disappears. Love starts to feel like a duty, not a joy. Good men struggle with this. This is why good men feel trapped.
Women like men that take control. But one thing people will not acknowledge is men love to take control. Not in a bad way. Men like to be in charge. If a man is not in charge of the sex, you are in charge, correct? And if he's not in charge, it becomes laborious for both of you, whether you like it or not. If he sees the opportunity, he will take it. I'm not saying he won't take it. But he becomes very docile and cautious, trying to not step on the right eggshell. That is to say, you've created the kind of man that you are not attracted to by trying to control something that should be in his control. To me, it should be like, oh, there should always be a good reason for not having sex. It shouldn't be something that you should just waive, like, I don't want to have sex. No. If a man initiates it, just tell him that, babe, I'm not ready. I'm not in the right mood. Let's do it another time. Try to still give him control while letting him off. But when it's like, nah, nothing is happening here, I'm in control, blah, 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 I'm not saying you are not in control. Give him the illusion that he's in control. He knows you are still in control of your body, but he wants to feel in charge. When you take that power away from him, it's something that will cause something that you can't really fix easily. Let me leave it that way. I'm not saying there is violence. There's no violence here. It's just that the relationship starts to deteriorate. And this is not what you want in your relationship. You are, as a woman, in control of your body. Your covenant in marriage requires that your body is no longer yours. It's your husband's. That is to say, when you are not in the mood, you communicate properly. And when you are in the mood, don't deny him. That's it. Shikena?
They try to understand. They try to fix things. They try to be patient. But no matter how much effort they put in, the truth remains. If the woman mentally switches off, nothing, absolutely nothing turns her back on except herself.
Yep.
So what's the solution? Ladies, own your happiness. Intimacy isn't about fulfilling a duty. It's about creating a connection that lasts. If you feel disconnected from your husband, ask yourself, is it really him, or is there something deeper at play? Has intimacy become a tool instead of an expression of love? A strong marriage starts with honest communication, emotional presence, and real connection.
I once had a relationship with a woman. She honestly thought she loved me. She did, but she didn't. She liked the way I made her feel. Two totally different things. Why? Because when it came to the opportunity for her to submit to some things, simple things, not big things or life-changing things, it became an issue. We fight over the most stupid things. And if I stand my ground and I'm saying I'm not budging in this particular area, she equates that to me not loving her. So she is in charge of choosing what she wants to fight for. I don't control that. I can't make her happy every single time. There needs to be a time where I purposely make her sad by standing my ground. It's left for her to say, this is a man I can truly submit to and he is my husband. Or I cannot submit to this guy. He has to do what I want him to do at all times so that I keep feeling the way I am feeling. I don't have control over that. So if you cannot truly submit to a man, then you can't marry that man. That's why I say men don't marry feminists, because fundamentally they've determined I am not submitting to a man. We are in a partnership. Marriage is not a partnership. It's a covenant for you as a woman to submit to your man. If you like, agree with me. If you like, don't agree with me. That's your problem. That is my view, and that's what my ancestors have believed, both my Christian and my traditional ancestors. So we move.
Not just obligations. So do not expect your wife to be like having this in her head saying, wife, it's your duty. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Create an opportunity for her. Create the environment for her to be able to make herself happy. It's in her to know what makes her happy. The moment your wife is able to figure it out, she spreads that goodness in the house. But women, you have to be consciously ready to be happy. Because happiness is just like cooking.
That's another important thing. You can't shame your wife into happiness. If she doesn't want to be happy, you can't do anything about it. So trying to shame her and tell her, you should be this, you should be that. You've lost, you failed. To be honest, you failed. So I would say this one is in the power of the woman. She has to decide herself, like she said. And that's why you have to be sure, 100,000% sure before you marry a woman. If you have married her, you've married her. You can encourage her, you can admonish her, you can preach to her, but you can't shame her into doing the right thing. You can tell her your mind and say, you should do this, but you can't continually nag her to do the right thing. You can stand your ground and say, this is what you should do. Fine. But you can't shame her into doing the right thing. Just like she said, create the right environment for her to come to her senses. And hopefully she's a reasonable woman and she will come to her senses. Hopefully.
It's just like baking. The moment you are able to prepare a meal, you just want to share. You automatically would not want to eat it yourself. You want people to compliment you. So that is how it is. You just want to share. And the moment you share it, it lights up your entire house. So here are my final thoughts.
I'm not going to play her final thoughts because I want you to go and watch her video and support her channel. Please. I know it's short, but still. Go to her channel and watch her video. So that's it for today. I hope you people enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys later. Please, this channel is too Small. We are 500. Is it 500? We are not even up to 600 subscribers. What are we doing? Please help. Help. Subscribe. Subscribe now. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'll see you guys and gals later. Bye-bye.